Whoa! Jeff and Jeremy in the morning.
This Taylor Swift stalker situation, this guy's going to end up having a bad ending if they don't lock him up for good.
I don't know what you're talking about. I know who Taylor Swift is.
Stalkers.
And she has a stalker?
They don't reform. Do they? I don't know. Like, stalkers are dangerous, okay? So, she's got a stalker. She's had this stalker for a while, and he has broken into her place many times. Now, he broke into her place for the second time in less than a year the other day. She lives in an apartment in New York City. Get her up. And, remember that?
Yes, I do.
Pace Picante?
Yeah, yes, I do.
Get her up.
Still like the salsa.
You do?
Yeah.
I think
My wife buys it. She likes it. It's okay. I would much rather have like real salsa.
Yeah.
When you have to buy store-bought preserved salsa, that's probably the best one.
I think it started out strong. It's like Bullseye barbecue sauce. It started out strong, and then they just found ways to cut corners.
Right.
And now it's just kind of your middle-of-the-road salsa. Because I think back when it came out...
You're having an ADD barbecue sauce because you love barbecue sauce moment, because you said New York. But she lives in an apartment in New York. I want to know about this story because I didn't know anything. I didn't know she had a stalker.
Well, can I elaborate on the degradation of condiments?
Oh, sorry. Well, maybe we come back to condiments later.
If I want to elaborate on the degradation of condiments,
sorry,
don't silence me because you want to hear about Taylor Swift.
I'm not trying to silence you. I just want to get back to the thing because now I'm intrigued about a stalker. Because the last story you told me about a stalker was a guy that was stalking a gal that worked at a radio station,
yes.
And he kept sending stuff to the radio station. She didn't respond, and then he would send her pictures of her in her house, and she wouldn't respond, and then he took pictures of her sleeping in her bedroom.
Broke into her apartment and stole all her picante sauce and barbecue sauce.
In New York.
But luckily it was just Pace and Bullseye, so she's fine with it. No, I'm just
How
kidding.
do you know this is a guy?
Because the guy, his name, he was charged once with stalking her. This is what drives me nuts with law in this country. So if you have somebody who has been charged and sentenced for stalking you, he was sentenced to 6 months in jail, served his sentence. I guess, it probably got reduced, and then went back
He's just
as
a stalker.
soon as he was let out. Or within a reasonable amount of time after
he went back to stalking.
He went back to breaking into her place, used a ladder to climb to the back of the building, used a concrete block to smash through the glass door.
They must not have proof that it's the same guy. They must just think it is.
They know
well,
that
why
it's
wouldn't
the same
they arrest
guy.
him for breaking in and entering?
They arrested him again. But this is my thing is, whatever the sentence is, the standard sentence for a stalker, it's not enough. Because this guy breaks back into her place. He ransacks the home. She's not home at the time. Thank God she's a busy girl. And she's not home at the time. And all he gets is, I guess it's a lot. Felony criminal contempt, burglary, stalking, violating the order of a protection because she's got a protection order against him, criminal mischief, and 2 counts of burglary. Just last month is when he was sentenced to 6 months. So he's like breaking in before he's even serving the jail sentence.
Wow.
This has got to tack on. I'm talking.
This has got.
You've got to give this guy 8 years.
This is going to be a Netflix series.
Yeah, exactly.
This is going to be on
a podcast. This is going to be a true crime type
following
thing.
A stalker.
Yeah.
The Taylor Swift story.
Like, you don't want a bad ending here.
No, it sounds like it's going to end bad.
Yes.
It sounds like he's going to kidnap her and then eat her or something.
So you need to isolate the threat. This is a cancer of society. Cut it out. Put him in jail. Put him in prison. We're like, people be crazy. Let's give them 6 months.
Have you ever had a stalker type situation?
No, never in my life.
In high school, I had a guy stalk me.
How? Why?
Well, he was gay, and he kept leaving notes in my locker. Now, maybe it was I was the new student at the high school. I'd moved to a new area, was the new student at a high school.
Freshman?
But I'm telling you, I think this was legit, and this guy would not leave me alone. And I would just throw the notes away. He's like, if you want to talk about it, if you want to, if you're not sure, I'm like, dude, I am sure, okay? I am 100% sure. Did
you grab the first girl that's walking down the hall and like a big kiss on her?
I just started humping her leg right there in the hallway. I was like, look at this. Finally, I had to tell a counselor. And
that's harassment.
He told me what to do.
Harassment.
He said, put a note back in your locker and say that you're not interested and leave you alone, and that you've contacted authorities. I guess being the counselor, and I did that, and it stopped.
Really?
But For
I don't think Taylor
weeks,
Swift.
For 2 weeks, I was throwing away notes.
I don't think Taylor Swift can just leave a note in her locker.
And I felt like I was being stalked.
Despite, I feel like half of her songs are about leaving notes in the locker. I don't think she could just leave a note in her locker, and call it a day.
How do you think this ends? Let's speculate.
If they don't lock him up for a long period of time, it's going to end horribly.
Do you think she protects herself with a firearm or something and ends up killing the guy? Or do you think the guy kills her?
I don't know. She should have security details.
She seems like a very strong woman.
This sucks for her because...
Well, of course it does.
Because now you have to... This is something you have to worry about in life because you've achieved some success. That's terrible that has to take place, that you have to get security guards, that you have to get added levels of security. This is why being famous is not all it's cracked up to be.
Well, there's... Yeah.
Remember David Letterman had a stalker, a woman that would break into his house all the time. Yeah. All the time. It wasn't like, she did it once and then she was taught a lesson. She would do it multiple times.
Have you ever stalked anybody?
No.
On Facebook?
Well, yeah.
Come on. We've all done that. We've all done a little bit of stalking.
Every day.
A little bit of stalking, but it's innocent if it's, stalking their Facebook page, looking at somebody that maybe you haven't seen since high school, want to see who they married.
You do this all the time whenever somebody leaves an unsavory comment on our Facebook page. You go and you find like the one negative thing in their life, and you're like, oh, that person's... That person.
Hey, it's how I deal with it, okay?
Oh, that's
my therapy.
They drive a Honda Civic. Oh, God, what a loser. It's not even like a newer Civic. It's like one from the 90s. That's what you do. That's the Facebook.
So true.
That's the level of stalking. And that level of stalking probably healthy compared to what's happening to Taylor Swift.
93.3 KZOZ rocks. Subscribe to the Jeff and Jeremy podcast now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, and YouTube. It's your Central Coast commute-friendly podcast.